What is up, everybody? Aeronaut here, better known as Bastille the Flying Type Gym Leader on McTia 4Ts, bringing to you my first video I've ever posted on YouTube. Well, actually, I posted a Murkrow video a while back, but that got deleted by Ruben's cousins, who apparently were bronies. Just kidding. They just had a My Little Pony video on there, and they accidentally deleted all our videos. But that's fine, because we got most of our other videos back up, and I realized that I should remake the Murkrow video and make it a lot better. Well, anyway, I'm gonna be talking about Murkrow. It's gonna be the first video in an installment of videos for Pokemon sets, and I'm gonna try to run some unorthodox sets and orthodox sets, and just sets that you don't know, sets that you know, sets that that people know that but you might not know. But anyway, it's gonna be awesome. And I'm only gonna talk about Pokemon that can be used competitively in VGC or just competitively in general, not Ubers, because Ubers are basically just overpowered, and well, I love their concepts, but they're more used based off of their power. But talking about Pokemon that are under OU and Smogon, but I don't like Smogon tiers because they're based off of usage, and usage is not the best indicator. But anyway, let's get into talking about Murkrow. Murkrow is a dual dark flying type with the abilities Insomnia, Super Luck, and Hidden Ability Prankster. It is 1 foot 8 inches and 4.06 pounds. It's a very small Pokemon, but it is very powerful. Insomnia and Super Luck aren't very useful. Well, Super Luck can be useful in Murkrow, but it's more useful in Honchkrow. Super Luck basically increases the likelihood for a critical hit by 1 stage. And its ability Prankster, if you did not know, increases the priority for status moves to 1. So they will go first. Well, any move that doesn't attack will go first over any attacking move, unless it is Brave Bird or Mach Punch from a Breloom, because Breloom's faster than you, or Sucker Punch from anything that's faster than you. But you don't have to worry about Sucker Punch because you're a Dark type, and Dark types resist Sucker Punch. But anyway, I have a bunch of sets for you guys, and let's talk about its weaknesses. It's weak to Electric, Ice, Fairy, and Rock. Very common types. Very, very common types. That can be scary at times. But they're all only 2 times weaknesses, and there's ways to remedy this. Its resistances are Grass by half and Dark by 1.5, or by a half times. And it's immune to 2 types, so basically it's kind of even in terms of the types that it resists, the types that it's the types that it's weak to. But honestly, the types that it's weak to might outweigh the types that it's resistant to. I know this is a video kind of showing off what Murkrow can do, but honestly, its weaknesses outweigh its resistances and immunities. I mean, being immune to ground's nice, but psychic types aren't as common as, say, electric types or fairy types in this generation. But anyway, it's not going to have too bad of a problem, especially with the Calm Mind and Eviolite, but I'll get into that later. Its Pokédex entry is feared and loathed by many. It is said to bring misfortune to those that see it at night. That is a very, very, very creepy Pokédex entry. It's probably one of the creepiest in the decks. I'm not totally sure. I watched the video. I watched a Jaywitz video on that, and I've watched other people who posted a video on that. But anyway, that's not what this video is about. So its base stats is HP 60, Attack 85, Defense 42, Special Attack 85, Special Defense 42, and Speed 91, which really means at level 50, its HP is going to be 135, its attack is going to be 105, its defense is going to be 62, and its special attack is going to be 105, and its special defense is going to be 62, its speed is going to be 111. So basically what that means is, and how you tell base stats, is basically you add 20, everything other than HP. I'm not sure how HP works, but you add 20 to each. Like, attack is 85, but with a neutral nature and for neutral nature and perfect IVs, it's 105, and defense is 62, whereas base is 42. I hope you can see that. And what's it called? Basically, if if your IVs are 29 or 30, they're going to be perfect because at level 50, because of the way it works, because 31 is not an even number. So so you're gonna be dealing with halves, which typically round up. So half of 29 is 14.5, which rounds up to 15. So that'll be perfect. And 30 is 15. And since and it's not low enough where you would lose an entire stat point because because the actual IV count at level 50 is 15.5, but you can't have 0.5 of stats, so it's only 15. So anyway, I have 6 sets for you guys, and some variant and certain sets have variants to them, like an A and B set, because they have a somewhat offensive and statusing on them, or they just have straight offensive, and I'll get into that later. But anyway, I have a stop sweeper set. I have a special sweeper set. I have a setup set. I have a rage quit set. I have a toxic call set, and I have a doubles Murkrow set. And let me get into those sets now. The first set I have for you guys is a special sweeper set. The moves for this set are Calm Mind, Dark Pulse, Roost, and Heat Wave, but there's a few variants on this. Like, you could run any sort of hidden power, such as Hidden Power Electric, Hidden Power Dragon, Hidden Power Ice. So I'd recommend either Hidden Power Electric, Hidden Power or Hidden Power Ice. Or you could run Feather Dance to lower their attack. But there's actually the other variants on the set are actually in the EV spread that you have on it. There's the first one where it's actually the standard one that I have, that the one that I typically run, the one that I find I'm not necessarily the most useful at times, but it's useful at other times. It's very useful against physical, to take physical hits against Scizor or just anything physical in general. Maybe an Infernape or something of that nature. But basically, what you should do, you give it a Brave Nature, and you would split the EVs in HP and Special Defense, max out your defense, which Brave, if you do not know, it raises defense but lowers attack. So your defense will be about 103, your HP will be about 151, and your special defense will be at 77, and the split between HP and special defense will be 130 and 120 or 125 respectively. I'm not totally sure about special defense, but I believe you could put special defense up to 125, and that would get it up to 78, which with EVO would put you about at 120 or 117, somewhere around that range. I'm not totally sure. I'm not going to do the math. I'm not going to pretend like I suck at math, but I'm not going to do the math right now. So basically, the idea around this set is you would Calm Mind and then Roost on the second turn, depending on what kind of hit you're expecting to take. Like, if you're expecting to take a really low attacking physical hit on the first turn, then I would imagine you can Calm Mind on the second turn, because honestly, if you're only taking a quarter of your health on the first turn and you expect to take a quarter of the health on the second turn, or expect them to switch out, you can Calm Mind twice, and then on third turn Roost, and then on the fourth turn Rape with either Heat Wave, your Hidden Power move, or its stab move, Dark Pulse, which Dark Pulse is probably going to be what you're going to be running, because it's only resisted by, I believe, Fairy, Fighting, and Dark, so it's going to hit most of the types for neutral damage or super effective damage, and that's really, really nice. So basically, obviously the item you'll be running is EV Ullet. So the other mentality on the set is you run it 252 EVs into HP, 252 into special defense, and you give it a Calm Nature, which increases special defense and lowers attack. And basically what you do with that is you would put it in against a powerful special attacker, and then they could tank the hits a lot better, because honestly, going up against a Life Orb Greninja, you're not going to take an Ice Beam very well in the first turn. You're not going to be able to set up Calm Mind because you're going to have to keep roosting, and that's not going to be very nice. So either run Hidden Power Rock or for Greninja, or Hidden Power Psychic for Um, Another example is Gengar, which you're not going to take a Sludge Bomb from, especially when it's Mega. So if you were to max special defense, however, you'll be able to take that, and then on the second turn, you'll have 225 roughly special defense. So you'll be able to tank a lot of hits from a lot of things, even from very powerful special attackers. I believe the only thing that really has a lot more special attack than you'd have special defense on the second turn would be something like, well, either something of Choice Spect or Alakazam, or Choice Spect Alakazam, which would probably rape you with, because it can run Thunderbolt. I'm not sure if that would kill you because it's not a stab move on Alakazam, obviously, but it'll do a lot of damage to you. So basically, the reason why I run Heat Wave is because for Pokemon like Scizor or Theraphorn, which can be very, very problematic for my team, because, well, I run Mono Flying because I'm the Flying type gym leader, and you might think, oh, he's just a Flying type gym leader, so he probably runs normal teams and normal competitive play, which is actually slightly true, but typically I'll be running a Flying type team. But in general, it's good to have Heat Wave because they're not going to be expecting it. Especially if the Brave nature, you're going to be taking that, the Bold nature, you're going to be taking that Bullet Punch really nicely, and then you'll Heat Wave it, and that should one-hit KO it. I'm fairly sure, because it's done that every time for me, because it's, even without any boost, you don't need to boost it at all, and I recommend not to, because I believe Scizor is either a 2-hit KO or 3 hits, and then you're a bullet punch away from dying. So just Heat Wave on the first turn, even if it's Mega, I'm pretty sure it'll die to a Heat Wave. And then you run Feather Dance because you can't actually increase your own defense. So this could be on either the special defensive set or the regular Bold Nature defensive set. So basically, you just Feather Dance and you lower their attack, and they'll either have to switch out or they won't really do much damage to you, because technically speaking, your defense will be about 300 at level 50, because basically it's technically doubling your defense, but it kind of isn't, because it's just lowering their attack, but you're going to be taking hits very well. Yeah. So let me get into the second set I have for you guys. The second set, which I've titled Stop Sweepers, is really my response to having a big issue with, say, Dragon Dancers. Well, a Mist will not work against a Dragon Dance. Weakness policy, Dragonite, because it has extreme speed, and it'll extreme speed and kill you. But this is my response to Dragon Dancers such as Tyranitar or Gyarados, especially Mega Gyarados, because I have a big issue with him as a Flying type gym leader. For whatever reason. I mean, I'm not too big of an issue, but if he gets enough Dragon Dances off, you're pretty much fucked. So anything that can this is a response to anything that can set up and your team has no non-priority responses to. Even if your team has priority attacking moves, they might not be able to be enough to take it out, and then it will hit you and kill you. This is also a great response for Belly Drum Azumarill, because the thing about Belly Drum Azumarill is, even though it has Aqua Jet, which is priority, you're going to always outspeed Azumarill, because Azumarill is not fast at all. The thing about Murkrow is his priority moves always outspeed Azumarill, Klefki, Sableye, and Scizor. So that's really nice. So if a Scizor gets a Swords Dance up and he's trying to Bullet Punch you, you can just haze it, and then the stats will be back to normal, which still might not be too good for you, depending on how powerful the Pokemon is, but it'll help your team a lot. And then the moves on this set are Haze, Thunderwave, Taunt, and Embargo. Well, you could also have Confuse Ray, depending on how you want to run it, but I'd rather run Embargo so they can't actually use their move. Or you can put in Torment, so that if they're choiced, then they can't. Maybe they bat and passed in, or they're just choiced in general. You can draw an Embargo so they can't use them. You can run Torment so they can't use the same move twice in a row. But I'm not sure if Embargo would work with getting rid of that choiced for 5 turns. I'm not sure how the mechanics on that work. So anyway, the moves are Haze, Thunderwave, Taunt, and Embargo, as I said before. Haze, obviously, it resets all the stats, and it's a priority Haze on Murkrow. So basically, anything that's not an Extreme Speed Dragonite or a Brave Bird, Talonflame, or I mean a Mach Punch, Breloom, you're basically going to be able to reset their stats. The issues with this are there's probably a few Sucker Punchers that are faster than you. I don't know them specifically, but I do know there are Pokemon that are faster than Murkrow that have Sucker Punch, but you're gonna resist Sucker Punch, and you're gonna be actually this set you're supposed to be defensive, because realistically you're gonna more or less be expecting to take physical hits because usually you're gonna set up with speed and attack, and this is especially for Dragon Dancers or Sword Dancers. I mean, it'll work against special attackers, and you could run the max special attack, max HP variety, but I feel like the max defense and max HP variety, or max defense and split HP, split special defense would work better. Thunderwave is so that on the second turn their speed is halved, but on the second turn you're gonna more or less taunt it so it can't reset up its attack. So what you would do is you would Haze, Taunt, Thunderwave, and depending on what you're running, Confuse Ray or Embargo, you would Confuse Ray, or obviously Embargo so it can't use its item because it might be running Life Orb and then it can't use that so it doesn't get the 1.3 boost. Like I said, I don't know how the mechanics on that work. So anyway, that's basically that set. And the third set I have for you guys is the setup set. The setup set, you're really seeing moves that I have had on the last 2 sets. But the only difference is there's Tailwind running. This could also work in doubles because it's running the Tailwind Thunderwave. So basically, you Tailwind double your speed, your Thunderwave have their speed, which is actually really, really nice for doubles or even singles. And then you could set up Calm Mind for yourself and then Dark Pulse, or depending on what you want to do, you could either have Taunt there and just have it as specifically as support, but I really recommend running the Tailwind, Thunderwave, Calm Mind, and Dark Pulse in this. And this set will be the standard Bold Nature set with mixed HP, mixed special defense, and max defense, because I feel like it's just going to have to take hits from both the special and the physical side. So that's really it. That's really it for that set. I'm not going to go into detail because honestly, the moves have been described on the previous 2 sets, other than Tailwind, and Tailwind basically just doubles your team's speed. So let me just get into the the third set I have for you guys, which is the Rage Quit set. So you're probably wondering why I named it the Rage Quit set, and that is because it's the standard Taunt Torment set that really, really, really can drive people off the wall. And I would really recommend max defense, max HP for this, but obviously it's open to interpretation, and I'm not sure what the picture shows in there, but it's basically just Murkrow has increased defenses, and it's going to be defensive, and maybe you want mixed, or maybe it's really up to interpretation. I would honestly either go with the max HP, max defense, or the max defense, the max defense and mixed defense HP. Like I know I've been really repetitive on that, but that's a set that's the EV spread I would recommend. But you can do whatever the hell you want. Basically, you'd run Taunt, Torment, and then I also have Confuse Ray and Toxic, or you could run Roost instead of Toxic, because Toxic really isn't the whole premiere of this set. It's more of the Taunt, Torment, Confuse Ray. Or you could also honestly run Thunderwave, because that would really, really, really frustrate your opponent. Because basically, they'll come in with like a Sableye, you'll taunt them so that they can't so that they can't status you, and then usually Sableye can also run Nightshade, so then you'll torment it so they can't use Nightshade. Or say you're into Thundurus, you'll taunt it so it can't Thunderwave you, or well, I guess taunt you, and then you'll torment it so it can't use the 2 moves in a row, which isn't going to be as bad. But also torment is great for choicers because they're choicing the 1 move, so they can't use the same move twice in a row. So then they'll be struggling on the second turn. And then Thunderwave would be really, really nice because then you can have their speed and give them a chance that they can attack. And then Confuse Ray would be really, really nice because they have a chance to not attack because they're confused, and they also have a chance to take damage while not attacking. So that would really, really frustrate your opponents, and that's really, really awesome. An awesome Murkrow set, and and also you could do Confuse Ray Toxic, so that they're taking damage from Confuse Ray and they might not attack, and then they're taking damage from Toxic, but then they'll probably switch out, but then that gives you a free switch if you can predict it correctly. And then the 5th set I have for you guys is the Toxic Stall set, and it works okay, it works pretty decently. Murkrow might not be the best Pokemon to run it, but I'm going to go over it because he is one of the only Pokemon that can run this set with Priority Toxic, Priority Substitute, and Priority Mean Look, and I'll get into that. Alright, so most of you are probably pretty well versed if you've been competitively battling enough in how to run a Toxic Stall set. You typically run Toxic, Protect, Substitute, and a Recovery move. I've seen Luis Ramirez do this with his Cradily, I believe, which runs Toxic, Recover, I believe Rock Slide and Energy Ball, and the same as Gusto. But Murkrow can do this with Priority. And the thing about the priority of Murkrow is that Murkrow does not have the defensive stats that it really needs to be a really effective non-priority Toxic Staller. But since the priority Toxic Staller, it's really, really nice. So basically, it'd be running Substitute, Roost, Toxic, and Mean Look. And what's really nice about Murkrow is that it can run Mean Look and Toxic, but then again, its defenses are well, they can be good with the Eevee, but they're not good enough where if there's a really, really powerful anything attacker that you're going to be able to take those hits. So honestly, for this set, I'd recommend an Eevee spread where it's either fully specially defensive or fully defensive. And honestly, I think you're going to be going with the fully defensive and then max HP because the things that you're going to be toxicking are going to be physical attackers. It's just from what I've seen, from what I've used, because the main meta special attackers are Greninja and I believe, and obviously Gengar, and Gengar can't be toxic, so I would rather go for the max defense, but you can also go mixed defenses and max HP, or however the hell you want to go. So basically, you'd Mean Look on the first turn so they cancel switch out, then you'd Toxic, and then you'd Roost, I'm thinking, because you'd have already taken damage, and probably, because this is the third turn, you're probably down to maybe either, depending on how much attack or special attack the Pokemon that you're facing has, you're probably down well below half, or just below half, or maybe just over half, so you want to Roost, and then it takes some damage, and then the next turn you're going to set up a sub, or we're just going to Protect, and basically, actually, I think Protect might honestly work better, because you can Protect, and then not take damage, and then take damage, and then Roost back up, or you could just sub, and then your sub will fade, and then you can Roost back up, and then you take damage, you'll sub, your sub will fade, you'll Roost back up, which can be effective, but sometimes isn't as effective, because if something's too powerful, like say you're running the totally defensive set, and you're going up against a Typhlosion with Choice Specs Eruption, you're not going to take that eruption very well, and you're going to break your sub, and then when you try to toxic, you're going to toxic it, but then you're not going to be able to mean look because I've tested this where you're going to be at about a third of your health after one eruption, and that's going from your full health. So you'll get toxic off, but then they'll be able to switch out. I mean, getting toxic off is really nice, but you want to put this in against something like Infernape, which isn't going to be able to deal as much damage to you. Well, when you're roosting, its Mach Punch is going to be super effective, but honestly, that's totally fine. Just use this against. This is probably better against walls because walls don't have as much attack, and as long as they're not steel types, you can poison them, and they're probably going to be statusing you and maybe poisoning you, but you have roofs, you have priority roofs, so that's really nice. And the last set I have for you guys is a doubles Murkrow set that I found really useful and I've used in several battles to assist my Mothim, named Mothra. So the last set I have is the doubles Murkrow set, which is really great and very underused. I've never seen it in any competitive battle that I've ever done, but I'm sure people have used it. I've actually watched a video or two of people using it, but it's not very common. Because typically people run the Torment and Taunt set or the Calm Mind Dark Bull set, and this set is very well unknown and can be very deadly in double battles. It's basically where you're running Quash, Thunderwave, Taunt, and Screech, and I don't think many people realize that Murkrow has priority Screech, which is really awesome paired with either a priority attacker, like say, or going up against a Tyranitar and you've had Scizor, you could Screech. You can priority Screech the Tyranitar, and you have more speed than Scizor does, so you're going to get your Screech off before Scizor bullet punches, and that should one-hit KO Tyranitar, which is known to be bulky. I typically do this with my Aerodactyl, because Aerodactyl's a fast sweeper. You can do this with fast physical sweepers, or you can do this with priority sweepers. There's kinks in both, because priority sweepers, there's things that can out-priority you and outspeed you, but Scizor would be a good pair for Murkrow because realistically it does not take much damage from most of the priority moves. I believe it resists Sucker Punch, not totally sure. It's not going to die to, unless Zoomerl has Belly Drum, it's not going to die to Aqua Jet, and it's not going to die to a Mach Punch because it neutrals that, and unless it's boosted by a Swords Dance, it's not going to die to that. So anyway, so basically, that's a Screech aspect, and then you can taunt, obviously, like a Sableye, or Klefki is more common in doubles. You'll taunt Klefki, which is going to basically, Klefki is known for screening, or just, or I guess taunting or thunder waving. So if you can taunt that would give you a really big edge. And I know I have a really big issue with Klefki sometimes if I'm not running Murkrow, because he'll thunder wave my Aerodactyl, and Aerodactyl is very frail. I mean, as Mega, his defenses are about 100 respectively, which is actually decent, but it's not going to take 2 attacks from anything that's not resisted or not or is decently powerful neutral. So basically you taunt that. And then the Quash aspect of it is very interesting. I run this with my Mothim, and basically what you would do is, say you're going up against a Greninja and something, and I don't know what else, something that'd be faster. How about a Greninja and something that's Scarfed, or I don't know, or something that's priority, alright? So you're going to Thunderwave Greninja, and maybe Greninja might not be able to attack on that first turn because it's paralyzed, but let's just assume that he attacks your partner Pokemon, which right now is Mothim. Ice Beam will be super effective. you'll most likely be dropped down to your sash. That's what I do. I sash it, and then I'll quiver dance. So then on the second turn, you're going to be faster than Greninja, no matter what. Because after quiver dance, Mothim is not going to outspeed Greninja. And say the other Pokemon is a Scizor, which runs Bullet Punch. So then on the second turn, you would quash that, unless they double up, which I do not see happening because they'd want to get the damage off on your on your Murkrow. Well, unless they're running an Ice Beam Greninja and then a Rock Slide Tyranitar, and because Tyranitar's expecting to take out Murkrow. I mean, I don't know if they're expecting to take out Murkrow because Murkrow is usually pretty defensive, is known to be pretty defensive. But anyway, that's really how you run that. You'll T-Wave on the first turn, and then you quash. Or you could just pair this up with say a Gyarados, and basically what you would do is you would quash something that's faster than it. You basically quash the threat, and then or you could T-Wave the threat just to be safe. You basically quash the threat, and if you have a high attacker that doesn't have the highest speed but doesn't have the lowest speed, like, well, Gyarados has about, I believe, one base 80, so that'll be around 100. So that's about mid-speed range, so it's going to outspeed a lot, but be outsped by a lot. So, and I should one-hit KO Greninja with any move it has. I mean, E-Quake is neutral, so it should take that, or you could just hit it with a Flying Stab. I'm not sure how you typically run your Gyarados because you're just watching video and I don't know you unless you're from Amictia Fortis or I know you from real life. So depending on how you run your Gyarados, or I don't know why I'm stuck on Gyarados, but just anything that has a high attack but not so much speed, so you can run it in paired with a Quash Murkrow. And Quash is awesome because even with priority moves, it makes them go last. So the only issue here is Talonflame, and Thundurus is an issue, but Talonflame and anything with Mach Punch that's faster, like I believe the two that specifically come to mind would be Infernape and Breloom. So basically, what you would want to do there is obviously T-Wave them, take that Mach Punch, and then go to second, because that's a really good way to break Talonflame. Because it's gonna Brave Bird on the first turn. Hopefully, you have a Pokemon that can take that Brave Bird, you'll Thunderwave it, and then even though the Brave Bird's gonna get off first, and I don't think Brave Bird would kill Murkrow. I'm not totally sure, but anyway, that's how the Quash aspect works. As far as the ED spread, I would typically run it defensive and max defense, max HP with the Bold Nature, because honestly, I feel like you're going to be encountering a lot more physical attackers. Obviously, you're going to be encountering special attackers, but in doubles, I feel like the threats from Murkrow are more physical, like Tyranitar and things like that. You could also run Feather Dance on this set if you really want to, instead of, say, Screech or something, just to get their attack down so that they either force a switch or something. Or you can run Bargo, or just any status move that can help you in doubles. There's also, instead of T-Wave, you could also run Tailwind, or instead of Screech, you can run Tailwind to give your partner that extra speed. Like, say, I'm gonna bring back Gyarados because when you double Gyarados' speed, he should be faster than most of the things in meta, except for unfortunately, if you don't have any speed investment in him like me, because I mostly invest in HP and defenses, because I wanted a more bulky Gyarados. He's not gonna outspeed Mega Manectric, but he will outspeed anyone, outspeed Aerodactyl or Alakazam, but he's still going to outspeed a lot and be able to sweep. So just keep that in mind. Run Quash, Thunderwave, Taunt, and Screech, and I mean, if you want to go all out special defensive, because you're expecting to go up against a specially defensive, especially attacking team. Like if you're specifically going up against a certain type, uh, like electric, you would use typically special, or ice is typically special. So you would max special, max HP, or max special and split HP in defense. Kind of like what I was doing with max defense and splitting HP and stuff. Um, I hope this was useful for all of you, and I hope it was very informative. I'm very new to making videos, so I'm not the best talker on video. I'm not the best on video, so I apologize for that. I hope this was informative enough and that you can take something from this. Please like or subscribe if you like this video and you want to see more. That would give me a lot more encouragement. And please, if you watch this video, comment. Even if you don't like me, even if you don't like me, just comment in there. Don't be like, you suck or something like that. Just be like, all right, dude, you know, it was very informative, but you could do something better. Or instead of even praise, you don't even have to praise me. You could just say you could do this better in your next video, and it would be a lot better. I apologize if this video is too long. I kind of went over 6 sets, so depending on, please comment and tell me if this video is too long, or if you liked how long it was and how informative it was, or just give positive and negative critique so that I can make my next video, which will be the Driftblim video, and Driftblim video a lot better, and tell me if my formatting is okay. Yeah, so basically that's really what I wanted to get out, and when I get the Murkrow sets. So thank you for watching. Please don't forget to like or subscribe if you like this video, and please check out our other videos on the channel. I know that the only other videos are from Lewis and his rock gym, so I apologize for that in advance, but we're going to get other videos up, and like I said before, I'm going to try to make my own. I'm not sure if I said it before because I made this video over multiple days, but I am going to make my own channel, but I'm going to post most of my videos on both the channels. Unless it's a gym leader battle, I'm just going to post that on the Amictia Fortis channel. Thank you for watching, and have a nice day.